Hello everyone and welcome inside the UCCU ballpark as the Lehi Pioneers are second ranked seed, the highest remaining in the Utah 5A state championship baseball tournament, are set to take on the 10th ranked Bountiful Redhawks. For Bountiful, it'll be Drew Bowles first, followed by Truman Derrier batting second. Dallin Maxwell will bat third. Hank Tippett, the designated hitter, in the cleanup spot. Carson Webster will bat eighth. Drew Beck. Carson Webster will bat fifth, Drew Beck will bat sixth. Carson Averett will bat seventh. Tavis Danner will bat eighth. And James Jordan will bat ninth for Bountiful. 2-0 the count after the first strike delivery and the foul off from Dawson Rodak, who gets the start for the mound. Gets to start on the mound for the Pioneers. High delivery from Rodak for his first ball. Maddox Madsen at the catcher spot. Jackson Brousseau at first. McGuire Madsen at second. Braden Willis at third. Jake Olson at shortstop. As Bowles goes down swinging, he is retired. First strikeout of the game for Rodak. The outfield for Lehi, Bowen Ingersoll. In left field, Zach Evans in center field, and Wack Christensen in right field. Bring up Truman Derrier. First ball delivered to him high. Lehi has been strong all tournament. They didn't give up any runs in their first game versus Maple Mountain on Monday. Yesterday, allowed just one to this Bountiful team, who they sent to the losers bracket, but Bountiful was able to defeat Orem for a second time and make it here. 2-1 the count goes. Off the strike from Rodak. Now 2-2. Derrier took a hack. He got nothing. Already one strikeout for Dawson Rodak. Can he make it two? Not on that outside pitch. 3-2 the count. It's full. Rodak. This one launched into left field. And going to take a bounce for the ground rule double. That was Bowen Ingersoll who gave chase. And Truman Derrier with the thunderous hit. So he lands on second. After that one took a hop into the left fence of UCCU ballpark. I've done 12 games here. You think I'd know how to say ballpark name? Dawson Rodak now due up. Ball one delivered to Maxwell. High flyer, sails into shallow right field, making the grab and preventing the tag up is the stellar second baseman, McGuire Madsen. Madsen was on the mound last night, where he gave up an early hit, but was strong the rest of the way. And what was a 5-1 win for Lehi. Hank Tippett's now due up after the shallow pop out. Tippett's trying not to leave Derrier stranded on second. Two outs now for the Pioneers as they look to take over offensively. Second strike delivered by Rodak, who looked sharp early. He was drilled one time on the low, almost golf-like swing from Derrier. High delivery will even it out. Tippett. Will go down swinging. They're going to check to make sure, but oh yeah, he went. 2 strikeouts through 4 batters faced for Dawson Rodak as he gets the Pioneers out of the inning. They surrender 1 hit, no runs, no errors, but they do leave 1 on as Derrier is forced to head back from second. Looking at things for the Pioneers in their batting order, it'll be McGuire Madsen leading off, followed by Jake Olson, Jackson Brousseau will bat third, Maddox Madsen batting fourth, cleanup spot. Boston Bingham, the DH, will bat fifth. Wack Christensen, followed by the rest of the outfield of Lehi, Bowen Ingersoll and Zach Evans, all due up and then, with Braden Willis rounding it out in the 9th spot. For Bountiful, TJ Dahlke at catcher, Carson Webster. On first, Kaysen Aford at second, James Jordan at third, Dallin Maxwell at shortstop, Drew Bowles in left field, Truman Derrier in center field, and Drew Beck in right field. What's at stake in this matchup? Bountiful, they're trying to force a second game. Would be the third matchup between these two teams this week, but a second game tomorrow against Lehi, with the winner of that advancing the state, seeing as Bountiful already has 1 loss on their resume, which they acquired to Lehi last night. They will need to even the playing field and give Lehi 1 loss in order to give themselves an opportunity to reach the 5A state championship where the Olympus Titans await them. Olympus just knocked out Salem Hills in a thrilling 11-10 game. For Lehi, they'll just need to close this out, and then they'll have an opportunity at a state championship. Tavis Danner gets the start for the Redhawks. As we go on in these weeks, pitching depth always tested. What separates contenders from the rest? So Coach Stringfellow will roll with Danner. Madsen looks ready to go. He'll allow the first strike to pass. Lehi led by head coach Jason Ingersoll. Mentioned Bountiful. Coach Stringfellow, their leader. Count even. On the 1-1 pitch. Madsen lets the outside ball pass. In our game between Bountiful and Lehi last night, Madsen got the start. Or excuse me, it was McGuire Madsen, so the other M. Madsen, who's on the mound. So McGuire stayed at second. Full count off that outside delivery. 1 batter in. Danner looking to start it out with a strikeout, as Rodak was able to. And he'll do just that. McGuire Madsen goes down watching. He totally disagreed with the call. He tossed the bat, thought he'd be heading to first. Instead, he strolls back to the dugout. Jake Olson, the shortstop, now due up. This is a Lehi team that comes into tonight's game 23-4 on the season. They were 15-3 in Region 8 play. On the season, they've only given up over 10 runs once. They've been lights out defensively. Oh, 2 the count. Now facing Olson after he fouled that one off. In danger of becoming the second strikeout for Danner. It won't come on the first ball delivery to the outside, though. This Lehi team has not lost since April 15th. They are on a mission. Another strikeout called. Danner dialed in as he retires Jake Olson. Jackson Brousseau now due up. Brousseau will look to avoid becoming the third strikeout of the game as Danner is dialed in early. Brousseau with the grounder. It's fielded by Maxwell, who gets it over to first. Bountiful makes quick work of the Pioneers. 2 strikeouts, and Brousseau swung at the first pitch as he grounded out too short. We move into the second. Still tied at 0. You're watching KSL Game Night Live Rewind. Second inning set to get underway. We remain knotted at 0. We've only seen 7 batters due up for each side so far. For the Redhawks, it'll be Carson Webster, Drew Beck, and Kason Aver due up to face Rodak. Rodak 2 strikeouts already. That's how he ended the first inning. He'll look to get back after it here. But this Lehi team mentioned the strong record. They haven't lost back-to-back games, which they would have to do in order to not advance to the state championship, since they lost to Bingham 11-3, and then the opening game of region play versus Orem. So that all the way back on March 22nd and 19th. Off a hop, it's played by Madsen, who gets it to Brousseau on first. Webster retired, grounding out to second. Drew Beck now due up. This Lehi team hasn't allowed over 5 runs since they dominated Alta when they won that one 24-7. But their more recent close loss in which they allowed more than 5 runs was the Jordan one, where they lost 10-7 to Jordan. That back on April 15th in the team's last loss. So you want to score over 5. That's the best way to beat this team. But doing so, easier said than done. Inside delivery brings us to 1-1 after the first out of Webster. Drew Beck, the right fielder, now due up. Looking at things for Bountiful. They're 23-10 on the season. (11-4) in that Region 5 play. Had a strong postseason tournament to reach this point, as this one sailed into foul territory for the 2-2 count. Started the playoffs taking on Stansbury, were they able to win that 3-game series, followed it up with 2 wins versus Woods Cross, as this one will die in center field. Meaning Drew Beck has a base hit, the second of the game for the Redhawks. But back to Bountiful. They were able to defeat Stansbury, then Woods Cross, then in the opening day of 5A bracket play, they bested Orem 8-5. Then a 5-7 loss to Lehi last night, but earlier today, that 8-6 victory that guided them to the rematch with the 2-seeded Pioneers. 0-1 the count with a runner on first, as the pickoff attempt goes his way, which is unsuccessful, as Beck makes it safely back. Jason Averett allows the first ball to pass to even the count at 1-1. Rodak ready to deliver. Instead, he'll try the pickoff with Brousseau. Brousseau, that's unsuccessful. This one squeezes past Jackson Brousseau, but he gives chase and secures it. Wisely staying at first was Beck. He's got to believe the strong arm of the first baseman and state champion quarterback of the Pioneers. Would have been able to get it to second. Speaking of that state championship, Lehi, the state championships in football. As Averett takes a hack, falling to 1 and 2 in the count. Olympus, who already punched their ticket, they're the state champions in basketball, so that would be an interesting matchup to see from two schools already with the state championship this season. Who would emerge? Brousseau led the Pioneers to 1, while Olympus was guided by Jack Wistersill. Jack Wistersill, the 6'8" center or power forward at college, committed to go to Northern Arizona. I have it from a good inside source that Wistersill almost played baseball, but decided against it to focus on basketball. 2-2 the count. Brousseau nearly got the tag out. Full count. Opportunity to secure the second out of the inning for the Pioneers. Redhawk. He'll be tasked with getting it. Pop straight up and called for by Madsen. McGuire Madsen will retire Averett. Now 2 outs in the inning. Still a runner on first. Tavis Danner, the pitcher, now due up. Rodak on the season, the junior. 4.89 the ERA, as this one will be unplayable. 5 wins and 1 loss. 9 appearances on the year for Rodak. 34 and 1 innings pitched. He's allowed 51 hits, 31 runs, 24 of those earned. 38 strikeouts to 19 walks. As he sails in a strike there. He's already up to 40 strikeouts on the season with his strong start to the afternoon. He's given up 5 home runs. It's the most given up by a Pioneer pitcher. And he's faced 175 batters. This one lifted into left field. As Danner gets a base hit on his fellow pitcher. Off the line drive. So 2 runners on base now. That's 3 hits in this game for Bountiful. 2 of them occurring in this inning. They had 1 in the previous inning. That was from Derrier. Derrier was stranded on second. There's now 2 runners on base with 2 outs for the Redhawks. And they look to James Jordan, who fittingly wears number 23 with the last name. In all red, steps in. Pinch running for Bountiful will be Jefferson Derrier. So Jefferson Derrier at first. His brother was stranded before. 1-1 the count. Rodak delivers the second strike. Jordan smacks it into left field, but there wasn't enough on it. Ingersoll makes the catch. In the first inning, Bountiful left 1 on. This one, they'll leave 2 stranded on with 2 hits. We remain all tied at 0. Pioneers back at the bats when we come back at UCCU Ballpark. Lehi will look to score some runs after it was 3 up, 3 down for them in the bottom of the first. They'll once again face Tavis Danner. Danner just got a base hit after he ripped one into left field. Due up for Lehi will be Maddox Madsen, Boston Bingham, and Wack Christensen. Speaking of Maddox Madsen, saw some action on the mound in yesterday's game. where he ended up going 7 complete innings. He allowed 7 hits, 1 run early on. That run was earned and occurred in the top of the second. Walked 1 batter to 5 strikeouts and 105 innings pitched. This one launched by Maddox in the left field. Madsen fouls it back. Talked about it a little bit, just looking at that game more yesterday. Bountiful led going into the bottom of the third, 1-0, but Lehi exploded in the bottom of the fifth. They had 8 hits in the game. They scored 5 runs in that bottom of the third, and they would struggle the rest of the way, unable to score, but they wouldn't have to as their defense would hold stout against Bountiful. Bountiful had 7 hits in yesterday's game. They're already off to a good start with 3 in 2 innings already. 2-2 the count. Bountiful faithful wanted the strikeout. They thought Danner had delivered it. It would have been Danner's 3rd strikeout as he struck out Madsen and Olsen. That was McGuire Madsen, his first strikeout. This one slapped high and caught. It's James Jordan, or excuse me, Dallin Maxwell. It's all 3 of them were over there to converge on it. So Madsen's high flyer gets him retired. Boston Bingham, the DH, now due up for the Pioneers. Bingham awaits Danner's delivery. Danner will foul it off. Bingham lets the strike pass. 0-2 the count. Facing Boston Bingham. Tavis Danner will deliver. This one launched into center field, but making the grab on it is Truman Derrier. So it's been 2 up, 2 down, with Wack Christensen, the right fielder, now due up. We talked about how stout defensively Lehi has been. But this is a Bountiful team that just loves to find ways to win. They've won tight games all season long. Mentioned their performance this postseason as they came in ready to play. Oh, 0-1 the count after Christensen fouled it off. Outside delivery. Recapping our action so far today. First, it was Salem Hills and Wasatch. Got us started in a thriller. Salem Hills scored 12 runs in the bottom of the 6th to win that one. Another one sent to center. And another one caught by Derrier. Christensen's retired. So we remain scoreless through 2. Set to begin the 3rd when we return at UCCU Ballpark. Start of the 3rd inning. After Christensen and Bingham both flew out, Drew Bowles will be back at the bats for Bountiful. Bowles struck out in his first plate appearance. Bowles will send one high, and it'll drop as it's caught by Zach Evans, our 3rd consecutive play made by the center fielder. Bowles, in last night's game, in 3 at-bats, was unable to register a hit. getting 2 strikeouts and a walk as he put that ball in play. That'll bring up Truman Derrier. Last time we saw Derrier, he had the ground rule double that he walloped into left field. Oh, 1 the count. The way this game is shaping up, 1 run might be all it takes. Bountiful's had the hot bats early. This one's chopped. 3 hits. They just haven't scored the runs. They've left 3 on. Derrier, he'll launch it into center, giving chase, and making the grab was Zach Evans, our 4th straight play made by the center fielder. So Evans fittingly retires. The other center fielder, Truman Derrier, both of them have been involved in our last 4 outs. As Dallin Maxwell now due up. Maxwell popped out. McGuire Madsen at second the last time we saw him. None of the first 4 batters in the order for Bountiful were able to get hits yesterday. Trend that's already been broken by Derrier's ground rule double. For Maxwell, no exception to this. He had 1 strikeout in the action. 0-2 in the count with 2 outs. And he'll reach on 1, drop 3 strikeout. Pioneers make the play and get out of the inning just as quickly as it begins. We'll see if Lehi can create some offense when we return. You're watching KSL Game Night Live Rewind. We're less than 30 minutes into this game, and already we're about to get the bottom of the 3rd going with Bowen Ingersoll, Zach Evans, and Braden Willis. The back of the Pioneer batting order due up. They'll try to figure out Tavis Danner, who has been phenomenal. Speaking of Danner, the sophomore, 2.62 the ERA, 9 appearances on the season. 10-2 innings pitched. He's allowed 7 hits, 6 runs, 4 of those earned. 6 walks to 11 strikeouts, 2 homers through 50 batters faced, and has been lights out through 6 today. He's got 2 strikeouts. Forced the other 4 batters to fly out or ground out. Ingersoll, Bowen Ingersoll that is, the coach's son. He'll fly one into right. That's secured. So Drew Beck gets in on the action in right field. Securing his first out of the day on Ingersoll. Zach Evans now due up. Danner sets, delivers. A pitch just to the outside. The lowest scoring game Bountiful has won this season is 5-0. Or 5-1 like they did last night, basically. High flyer is very shallow, giving chase, and making the catch is Maxwell at shortstop. Wind looked like it played a factor on that one. As he ran all over the infield to grab it, but saw it all the way. With Braden Willis now due up. So 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd. It's Willis with Madsen on deck. Willis was nearly hit by that one, the 3rd baseman. Looking at it for Bountiful. Bountiful, they've won a few games. 3-1 this season. No strangers to low-scoring affairs. But this is how the game started for Lehi yesterday. Wasn't until that 4th inning. They got the bats hot. This grounder off the hot, fielded by Jordan. It's a high throw, but still tagging the bag on his way down was Carson Webster. What a play. Was nearly an error on the high throw from Jordan. But Webster gets the out with the tap. We're through 3 innings just as quickly as you could say it. 4th due up next. 3 innings in the books. Our 4th about to get underway. We remain at 0. In yesterday's game, it was actually that 3rd inning that was so productive for Lehi. They scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. It was the only runs they had. Bountiful had scored their only run by this point in yesterday's game. High delivery to Tippett, who struck out in his first plate appearance. Mentioned he a part of that group that did not have success yesterday. One the count. Tippett allows the low ball to pass to pull ahead. Bountiful didn't register a hit in the top of the 3rd. It was the first inning in which they were unable to do so. A reminder, Bountiful would have to win this game and tomorrow's game, which would be scheduled for 7 o'clock. Could be subject to move with the way the Olympus game played out earlier today with the Titans not needing an extra game. Full count. Tippett goes down swinging. Dolan Maxwell was struck out to end the 3rd, and to begin the 4th, Tippett does the same. It's the 4th of the game for Rodak. Carson Webster now due up. Webster allows ball 1 through. Lehi has played quicker games all week because of how strong they've been defensively. It's tough to reach base against them. Bountiful done a great job defensively early. Late on it and fouling it off. Here's Webster. Webster, the first baseman, had that phenomenal out, in which he tapped first to retire Willis to end the bottom of the 3rd. Outside delivery makes it 3-1. Rodak yet to walk a Red Hawk today. That nearly changed. Has looked like it hit off the gear of Madsen at catcher and then collided with Webster. Madsen and Rodak going to talk over some strategy as they'll look to retire Webster. Webster in yesterday's game in 3 at-bats had a hit and the 1 run that scored for Bountiful. Webster goes down swinging. The 3rd strikeout in a row for Rodak, the 2nd of the inning. And the 5th of the game. Just not even 4 innings through yet. Drew Beck now due up. Last time we saw Beck, he sent one into center field, allowing him to reach first. One 0 the count. Beck launches it into left. It's a homer. The Red Hawks snag the early lead off the huge shot from their right fielder, Drew Beck, who blasted that ball into left field, giving Bountiful the early lead in the top of the 4th. He stops home. So Drew Beck hit a huge homer. That one just sounded great off the bat. It's 2 outs. 2 outs before that homer. It looked like things were going to stay bleak for Bountiful. First strike delivered to Averett. Rodak will look to get back on track after surrendering the huge hit. This one lined, but caught. What a play made by Braden Willis, the third baseman. Gets low and gets the grab. So 4 hits now for Bountiful, none for Lehi, but the biggest one occurred in the top of the 4th. It was the home run from Drew Beck. Beck's big-time homer gives the Redhawks a lead. We'll see if Lehi can match it when we come back for the bottom of the 4th. The 1-0 Redhawks lead after the huge homer from Drew Beck. So we move into the bottom of the 4th. Due up for Lehi is the top of the order. McGuire Madsen, Jake Olson, and Jackson Brousseau. Madsen was the first strikeout of the day for Tavis Danner. Madsen in yesterday's game, in 1 at-bat, had a run. Also had 2 walks. So he avoids the inside pitch from Danner. So Olympus, we mentioned, beat Salem Hills earlier. So they won't play until Friday now, the 27th. The first game of the championship, scheduled for 4:30. High flyer delivered to center, calling for it and securing it is Truman Derrier. That'll bring up Jake Olson, who also struck out the last time we saw him. Hits and runs just hard to come by, especially for Lehi early. They have yet to have a hit. Danner delivers the outside pitch to Olson. Olson in 3 at-bats yesterday had 1 hit, 1 run. Brought in 1 run as well. Olson slaps it foul. So 1-1 the count. I can't imagine the 2-seeded Pioneers have gone through their batting order much this year without having at least a hit. That's the case they have right now. So they're over 11 batters in. Another ball is popped up, calling for it and securing it. Or not, was TJ Dahlke, as Tavis Danner came down and he tried to grab it, and Dahlke was frustrated at Danner. Dahlke had called it. Danner thought he could come down and make a play on it, and instead they leave the door cracked open for the Pioneers. 1-2 the count after that foul off. So missed opportunity for Bountiful. We'll see if it costs them. 1-2 still the count. Danner. That pitch just to the outside, and he's shocked by it. He thought he had the strikeout. Instead, the count will be 2-2. Olson will step back in. Danner delivers another ball to the outside, so full count. A runner is yet to reach base for Lehi. That could change off a walk here. Chopper hit to Maxwell. It's another high throw. Carson Webster arguing that he caught it and then swung it low for the tag out, but it was unsuccessful. So what will only be registered as 1 error was actually 2. So Olson able to make it to first. after Maxwell couldn't get the throw over in time, and it's once again off target. Webster was frustrated with Maxwell because of the off-target delivery. So first hit of the day for Lehi. Comes off the air. Meaning they won't officially get credit for it. But as he said, shouldn't have even been in the position to have a runner on base. Danner gets back on track with a strike. As Dolkey should have had that foul ball. It was headed right towards him, but unfortunately, he bumped into Danner. Brousseau, last time we saw him, grounded out to shortstop. This ball delivered too low by Danner, and it'll pass through. Allows Olsen to take second. So the tying run, now in scoring position. One the count. Brousseau takes strike two. So it'll be Brousseau with Madsen on deck. Brousseau pitched the first game versus Maple Mountain where he was lights out. Had 5 strikeouts and only gave up 1 hit. No runs. Helping to lead to the 10-0 Mercy. The grounder will squeeze through. And going to come in is Olsen. And he'll make it. But a pickoff attempt to second. Unsuccessful. So Brousseau with the huge double. How things have turned for Lehi. Dolkey and Danner talking it over. After it was Danner who stepped in and took that ball from him. On the catch. We see a meeting on the mound take place for Bountiful as they're just talking some strategy. As Coach Averett makes his way out. So we now have a tie game in the bottom of the 4th. It's a run that should have never been, but just unfortunate how things play out sometimes. So Brousseau goes to second. As his hot hit grounder passed by the diving Jordan James. And he's able to steal second. Off the confusion. But Dolkey had Olsen dead to rights in foul territory and just couldn't secure it. Max Madsen returns. Last time we saw Madsen, he flew out in the center field. Still just 1 out in the inning. Brousseau, the potential leading run, sitting on second. Madsen pops it up. It will not be playable. As it instead hits the bleachers. Oh, 1 the count. Tavis Danner was so strong early. He's now given up a hit and a run. This fly ball sent to right. Brousseau's going for it. He thought about it until he saw that incredible throw from Drew Beck. Wow, what a throw. It made it all the way to third with ease. It was accurate and a good decision by the state champion quarterback to go, no, I'm good on second. So Madsen flew out. Boston Bingham now due up. Bingham in yesterday's game. 3 at-bats. Had 3 hits. 1 run scored as well. He was productive. As he'll lace one. That's caught. Getting under it was Maxwell. He dropped the glove and secured the grab to leave Brousseau stranded. But the run brought in by Brousseau will stand, so we have a tie game. So we have just 3 to play. You're watching KSL Game Night Live Rewind. Tavis Danner due up for Bountiful with James Jordan on deck and Drew Bowles bringing with him the top of the order in the hole. We have a tie game, and one that I got to imagine Tavis Danner is frustrated that he interfered here with Dahlke, as Dahlke had the foul ball that would have retired the eventual run that was brought in Olsen. He wouldn't have been on base for Brousseau to even bring in. So we're 4 innings in, a run each. In the 4th, ties it. This one's fouled off. It'll be unplayable, evening the count at 1-1. Tavis Danner, the pitcher batter, now due up. Danner did not bat in yesterday's game. He'll let the outside ball pass, 2-1. Danner got a base hit the last time we saw him after he launched one into left field. Case and Averett was retired on a line drive to end the 4th inning. The last time we saw the Bountiful Redhawks at the bats. Danner goes down swinging on full count. Huge out for Rodak. Six strikeouts now for Rodak. That's his 4th. And his last 6 batters faced. Unfortunately for Rodak, he hit Jordan on that one. So tying run to first for the Redhawks. Drew Bowles now ready to step in. Bowles, be the 3rd time we've seen him today. First plate appearance, a strikeout. The second, a pop out. His bunt attempt sails high, is played. And getting the out on second was Madsen. Him and Rodak both went after it, but Ingersoll able to tap first. Seen a few times now where pitcher and catcher both try to make plays on balls that nearly ends poorly. So Bowles' high bunt attempt is a sacrifice and does a job. As it advances, James Jordan. Going to see a mound meeting. It's Lehi. Just going to talk things over. So runner on second now in the form of Bowles. With Truman Derrier, the one who had the most success against Rodak earlier when he blasted the ground rule double into center field. Or I should say second most success. Can't forget about Drew Breck's home run. So 1-1 our score. I accidentally had pressed 4, so I apologize for any scoreboard issues, but our score is 1-1. 4 hits, what Bountiful has, but just 1 run. They have 2 outs in the inning now. But a runner on second with Truman Derrier due up to face Rodak. Lehi's talked it over. They've got a plan. We'll see how they execute it. Derrier allows the low pitch through for ball 1. That one went off the helmet of Jordan. Throw made from Madsen, and looks like he's all right as he stands up, but that Sounded painful. 2-0 the count after back-to-back ball deliveries from Dawson Rodak. That'll be the first strike against Derrier. 2-1 the count. Derrier moved to 3-1 in the count after a low delivery. Derrier batting .475 on the season. In 99 at-bats, 47 hits. Make it 48. He drops it in the left field. And coming in to score, it's James Jordan. 2-1. Redhawks take another lead. Derrier had the ground rule double earlier. This line drive sailed into center field. So Dallin Maxwell now due up. 2 outs in the inning. Maxwell struck out his previous plate appearance to end the third inning. Popped out in a shallow second the last time we saw him in the first inning, but his most recent one, the strikeout. Maxwell, .341 the ERA. 116 plate appearances, 91 at-bats, 23 runs, 31 hits. He's brought in 42. He'll chop one. That'll pass a diving Ingersoll. It's trapped by Madsen eventually. But a back-to-back base hits for Bountiful. Brusso nearly had it. Instead, it'll put 2 on with 2 outs. With the DH, Hank Tippett's now do it. Tippett's .363 the average. Tippett's .363 that batting average. 33 hits. He'll foul that one into himself. It's been 2 outs for the Pioneers for a little bit. James Jordan was hit by a pitch from Rodak. He would then come in to score 6-1. Bountiful leads the hits department. They hold a 2-1 lead with 2 runners on, 2 outs, with Hank Tippett, who struck out in both his plate appearances, looking to keep the run going. Instead, he'll fall to 0-2 in the count. Rodak delivers a ball that's fouled off. Tippett fights to stay alive. Tippett has brought in 27 runs on the season. Outside delivery for the first ball. Hank Tippett's the DH. Chops another foul. Tippett's continuing to fight to keep the inning alive. Back-to-back innings for Bountiful where they've brought in a run. Tippett goes down swinging. Rodak gets another strikeout. His 7th of the game, but he does surrender a run. 2 hits as well given up. There were 2 runners left on, but either way, Bountiful with the lead. We'll see if they can maintain it when we shift into the bottom of the 5th here at UCCU Ballpark. Wack Christensen do it for the 2nd time. Lehi trails by 1. The Redhawks holding the lead. This one's fouled off. Christensen. Wack trying to do just that. Whack the ball. 1-1 the count. This one launched in the center, but secured by Derrier. Second time, Christensen flew out to center. Let's take a closer look at that Bountiful Orem game while we have a chance with one out in the inning, and Ingersoll coming up. It was Orem who jumped out to the 3-1 lead after 3 innings. They scored a run, at least one, in each of the first 3 innings. And when Bountiful scored one in the top of the 3rd to pull within one, Orem responded with 2 more. But then Bountiful in that top of the 7th, the bats came to life. Top of the 5th, they scored 7 runs. And even though Orem would add 2 more in the bottom of the 7th, it proved to be too much to overcome. 8-6. Bountiful secured it. For Bountiful in that one, Derrier had 2 hits. Maxwell drove in 2 runs. Abuchan was strong on the mound. After surrendering the early runs, Abuchan ran nearly 6 innings until Danner actually stepped in to finish it off, and then Danner, the one who has to start here. 1-2 the count. Off the hop, it's played by Maxwell, who gets it over to Webster for the out at first. Zach Evans will now be due up, looking to make it, looking to avoid going 3 up, 3 down for the Pioneers. Casey Averett was also strong in that game, as was Hank Tickets and Carson Webster, who all drove in a combined 5 runs for Bountiful, helping them get their 2nd straight win versus Orem of the week. On the count after the bunt failed for Evans. He'll send this one in the center, but it's once again caught by Derrier. Bountiful continues to be locked in defensively. They lead 2-1. We have 2 innings remaining. This game is flying by. Bountiful with the upper hand as we head into the 6th. You're watching KSL Game Night Live Rewind. We've played 5, and the Redhawks currently hold the 2-1 lead after they shut down the back of the Pioneers batting order. Due up now is Carson Webster. Webster struck out in his first plate appearance. This one he sends. That takes a bounce, but it's played by Madsen. McGuire Madsen on the move and the hop, secures it. As Webster bites on the first pitch. Drew Beck now due up. Last time we saw Beck, he had that big home run in the top of the 4th. That gave his team the lead. Early 1-0, Lehi would tie it up after Brousseau brought in Olsen. But then the big-time Truman Derrier hit allowed James Jordan to score. A go-ahead run. Bountiful trying to force another game tomorrow. Lehi trying to get a day of rest before they'll take on Olympus. Oh, 1 the count. Low delivery will even it up at 1-1. The reason this game started almost an hour and a half later was because of our 3-hour-long thriller that featured the 12th-ranked Salem Hills Skyhawks and 4th-ranked Olympus Titans. Olympus exploded for 7 runs in the first inning. Salem Hills would score 2 in the 2nd and 3rd, but Olympus would score 3 in that stretch combined, so they held. A 10-4 lead. But going into the 5th inning, as Beck gets the walk. But going into the 5th inning is where things got interesting. Olympus would add a run in the 4th, but the 5th, Salem Hills added 2. They added 4 in the 6th to tie, to pull within 1. They would hold Olympus in check in the bottom of the 6th, but the Titans bring in Sam Creer, who got 3 strikeouts. Ice in his veins, he closed it out the right way and sent Salem Hills packing and Olympus to the title game. This one launched into right field. It's Christensen. Whack Christensen with the grab. Second out of the inning for Lehi. Pioneer faithful fired up about it. So Tavis Danner now due up after Kason Averett flew out into right field with Beck still settled on first after the walk. Danner struck out the last time we saw him. Before that, launched one into left field, trying to extend the lead and keep the inning alive for Bountiful. To the count. Now at 1-2 after the ball delivery. Dawson Rodak looking for the K. Can he secure it here? He ended the 5th with 1. Can he end the 6th with it? He will. That's his 7th strikeout, his 2nd on Danner. Rodak's locked in. We'll see if Lehi is at the bats. They only have 6 outs left to try to tie it up or take the lead. We'll see if they can do it when we return at UCCU Bank Ballpark. Lehi will try to tie it up in the bottom of the 6th. To do it, tasked with doing so will be Braden Willis. And we'll turn it over to the top of the order for the Pioneers. It'll be McGuire Madsen and Jake Olson in the hole. This is a Lehi team that has not lost in over a month. But this is a Bountiful team. It's been really good. They've been locked in. They were impressive all tournament play. We talked about the win over Stansbury. And the win over Woods Cross. Bested Orem twice. They fell 24 hours ago to Lehi, 5-1. But Bountiful was in it for almost all that game, except for the bottom of the 3rd. This one's launched in the center field where it'll drop. A base hit. As it's Braden Willis. He was retired last time by the incredible leaping play from Carson Webster from the high delivery from James Jordan. But after he set one into center, he now lands on first. McGuire Madsen now up. Pickoff attempt unsuccessful the first. After the pickoff attempt, Tavis Danner will turn his attention to home plate, where he sees Madsen, who he's retired twice today. The first time was a strikeout, the second a fly out to center. Madsen showed bunt, he pulled back. TJ Dolkey going to adjust his gear quick, and we'll get back to it. McGuire Madsen, one of 3 Madsens on the Pioneers roster, trying to put the ball in play. Madsen showed bunt, but pulled back. 2-0 the count. Off the outside delivery from Danner. Danner yet to walk a batter on the day, currently behind in the count. Runner on first and no outs. Willis getting just the second base hit of the day for the Pioneers. And Willis is playing a dangerous game. It's the second time he's nearly been picked off as Danner and Webster connected. Third pickoff attempt, once again unsuccessful. Two-0 the count. Bunt is foul. Frustrated Madsen will go to 2-1 in the count. He's trying to advance Willis. Coach Ingersoll going to call a quick time, talk things over with his infield. Doing the same will be Dolke, Danner, and the rest of the infield for the Redhawks. While we have a chance, this is our 12th game of bracket play this weekend, 5A. Let's recap the action for you. First, it was Ormond Bountiful, it was Lehi and Maple Mountain who had the action started, with Lehi getting the 10-0 win. Then it was Orm versus Bountiful, with Bountiful grabbing the 8-5 win. From there, it was Wasatch versus Jordan, with Wasatch getting the first upset versus the Beat Diggers. Then Olympus defeated Salem Hills 9-5. That was our first day of action. 2-1 pitch, now set to be delivered. Another pickoff attempt is a no-go. In our first game of the second day of play, it was Salem Hills who would get another upset over Jordan, knocking them out of the tournament. Then Orm would eliminate Maple Mountain 12-7. Then we would move to watch Wasatch and Wasatch and Olympus play each other. As that bunt is fair. No, it is foul. There was some confusion. Our home plate umpire gave two signals, but then corrected himself. So 2-1 our count. We'll actually go to 2-2 now after that foul attempt. But Wasatch Olympus was our 4:30 game yesterday. Olympus was able to secure their spot in the winner's bracket. And they bested Wasatch 7-1. Then Lehi defeated Bountiful in the 5-1 rematch we've talked about a lot. That sent us into our third day of play. And here we sit, 2-2 the count, no outs. And another pickoff attempt, unsuccessful. Danner's continued to flirt with first to try to get the out. Instead, he'll direct his attention to Madsen, trying to strike him out for the second time today. Instead, Madsen drops it into shallow center field. It's caught by Derrier, but the Pioneers faithful come to life. The student section is right in front of us here in the booth, so you can hear them. Lehi with two runners on, the leading run on first. This is something we saw in our first game of the day at 11. Wasatch led almost the whole way, but then Salem Hills used the strong bottom of the sixth to take the lead. Now that one was 12 runs for Salem Hills. Not expecting that out of the Pioneers. That's unrealistic. But just a run to get things going, all it takes. Two runners on, still no outs. Jake Olson due up, back-to-back base hits for the second time today from Lehi. It's how they scored their first run, back when Jake Olson made it to first, and then Brousseau brought him in. That combination on deck. Crowd trying to rattle Danner, who delivered the ball. Olson shows bunt, sends it right down the third base line. And James Jordan was unable to get it to first in time either, so the bases are loaded at UCCU Ballpark with no outs in the bottom of the sixth. Olson's bunt works to perfection. So 3 on with Jackson Brousseau, who had the strongest hit of the day so far. Brousseau's day so far Grounded out to shortstop in his first appearance, but then he launched one into left field that brought in a run. It was a double for him. He's the only one with a double on the day for Lehi. He's used to coming up clutch in big-time moments. Can he do so here with the bases loaded? In our 2-1 game, the tying run at third. And Willis, the leading run at second in Madsen with Jake Olson now at first after his bunt. Brousseau will step out. Danner checks third. Now focuses on Brousseau. He'll deliver. First strike through. 0-1 the count. Remember, no outs. So it's Brousseau with Maddox Madsen on deck and Boston Bingham in the hole. Brousseau trying to give his team the lead or just tie it up. Won't come on the outside pitch. That evens the count at 1-1. Brousseau pops it into foul territory. 1-2, the count will go. Our 2-1 game with Bountiful ahead. Brousseau gonna step out. Brousseau sends it into right field. It's going to be caught by Beck, but it's a foot race. And making it to home is Braden Willis. Tied game. Brousseau's second run brought in on the day. Ties it up at 2. The leading run now goes to third in Madsen with Olson to second. Brousseau, the sacrifice single, so he's retired for the first out of the inning, but ties our game at 2. Now due up is Maddox Madsen. Madsen's flew out the 2 previous times we've seen him. Two runners on. Madsen. That's the outside pitch pass. One 0, the count. Pickoff attempt to first, unsuccessful. Madsen looking to bring in McGuire Madsen. He'll send it high. Looks like it'll fall into the bullpen. And it will, of the Redhawks. So our game remains 2-2. 2 runners in scoring position. Actually, Jake Olson. So Olson still at first. He was unable to go to second. Didn't have a tag-up opportunity. So he stayed settled in our tie game. Madsen will step back in. 1-1 his count. 1 out in the inning. Pick off to first is, to no one's surprise, unsuccessful. 1-1 the count. Madsen. That's the outside delivery pass. 2-1 the count. Madsen awaits the pitch. He'll foul it off to bring us to 2-2. So we'll reset and do it again. So the 2-2 pitch set to be delivered. Still just one out in the inning. Pickoff attempt to first. Safe. Bountiful boos. Lehi cheers. As Olsen still stays settled on first. Lengthy at-bat continues from Madsen, the catcher. Tavis Danner is on the mound. There are other Redhawks warming up. He's trying to get the second out of the inning. Instead, he'll once again look to first and won't get the pickoff. Danner's attempted that now more times than I can count, all unsuccessfully. Got close on the previous one. We'll see if he's finally going to deliver to Madsen again. McGuire Madsen on third, continued to try to get his attention. The grounder, chance for a double play. It's a high delivery, and this ball is squeezed through, but the leading run has scored. Maddox Madsen brings in McGuire Madsen. To give the Pioneers the lead. Lehi's first lead of the game comes at 3-2. So Madsen makes it to first. It was Olsen who was retired at second. Bingham now due up. Bingham yet to reach base today. Won't on the high delivery. The Pioneers had just two hits coming into this inning. Excuse me, just one hit coming into the bottom of the sixth. They added 3 in it. It allows them to take the 3-2 lead. So that one's chopped into foul territory. Lehi in command. If they can hold the lead when they take the field again, they won't need to be back up, as it would end the season of the Redhawks. They've been so strong today. Danner been hit late. This one sails fair, and getting the easy out is Webster. So Bountiful surrenders 2 runs to Lehi, allowing the Pioneers to take a 3-2 lead. That does it for the 6th. The 7th is up next. We'll see if the Redhawks, who are down to their final 3 outs, can force a second game tomorrow. Welcome back inside the UCCU ballpark for what could be the final time tonight. The 2-seeded Lehi Pioneers scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th to take the 3-2 lead. Bountiful had led all the way through, didn't surrender it until that 6th inning. And now they're down to their last 3 outs if they want to extend their season and force another game tomorrow. Due up, it'll be James Jordan. Then the top of the order for Bountiful with Drew Bowles and Truman Derrier standing by respectfully. This is a day that's had a lot of fun action. Mentioned Salem Hills scoring their 12 runs in the bottom of the 6th to beat Wasatch. Then you had Orem, who jumped out to the early lead over Bountiful, who of course was then able to come back in this one with Bountiful able to take the lead. And then it was Olympus earlier who survived a late Salem Hills comeback as this one's fouled into the net. But Olympus survived the late Salem Hills comeback to win it. Another tight one late, 11-10, and punch the first ticket in our championship game. Lehi, they're trying to punch their ticket as we speak. Jordan sends it high. I don't know if it'll be playable. It will not be. So 1-2 the count goes. It's been a great run for the Redhawks. Can they keep it going? They've been so great this game. They have been better for Lehi for more innings, but it's all about timing. As in the 6th, Lehi stepped up, scoring those 2 runs. Outside delivery will take the count to 2-2. Dawson Rodak has been really strong. He's given up 6 hits on the day, but just 2 hits, one of those a home run. Jordan sends it high, calling for it, and securing it is Jake Olson. 1 down, 2 more to go for the Pioneers. So Drew Bowles now due up. And Bowles takes it off the shoulder. He'll head to first after being hit by a pitch. So the tying run now at first. Truman Derrier now comes up. He got the first inning started off with a ground rule double that he launched in the left field. Since then, flew out in the center. In his most recent plate appearance, he drove in what was the 2nd run of the game for Bountiful. Sent that one in the 5th. After Bowles had made it on base, Derrier lifting one in the center. That's what made it 2-2. Before Lehi captured the lead. We had no runs through the first 3 innings in this one. So in a surprise move, that's going to be it for Dawson Rodak, who's greeted to a well-deserved standing ovation. We'll let you know who Lehi has called on in his place when we come back. You're watching KSL Game Night Live Rewind. Head coach of the Pioneers, Jason Ingersoll, has decided to call on a freshman. It's his 3rd Madsen. It's Mays Madsen, who they'll hope can close it out. In the top of the 7th, we saw Olympus a game before turn to Sam Creer, and he rewarded them with 3 straight strikeouts to close out the game and punch their ticket in the state championship game. The Pioneers faithful hoping that Mays Madsen can do the same as he comes in release of Dawson Rodak. His first due up to face Truman Derrier. He'll start it off with a strike delivered to him. Back-to-back strikes delivered. How about the freshman stepping in? Can he make it 3 straight pitches and strike out the only hitter on the day, with one of only 2 hitters on the day for Bountiful with 2 hits? It's a grounder. It's bobbled up and got the force out at second. It was flipped over. McGuire Madsen bobbled it, then was able to get it and flip it with one hand over to Jake Olson. So they are able to retire Bowles. Derrier safe on first, so the tying run remains on first. That was the second out of the inning after James Jordan flew out to center. The season for the Redhawks rests on the shoulders of Dallin Maxwell. Maxwell, the last time we saw him, had a ground ball that broke into right field. He looked to recapture that. He was retired. His first 2 plate appearances, putting the ball in play. The first one before striking out in the second. 1-0 the count. Mays Madsen on the mound. Grounder is fielded to second. The force out. Did the Pioneers get it? They did. They get the win. They make the comeback in the bottom of the 6th to take a 3-2 lead. Then they call on Mays Madsen in the 7th, and he delivers. That ball was fielded by Jake Olson, who then got it to McGuire Madsen, and they got the out. So Lehi had trailed for so much of the game. They looked to be in danger. Instead, they come up clutch late and get the win. They're going to the state championship game, so we will have no games tomorrow. As officially Lehi and Olympus, our 2 and 4 seeds respectively, will have a bye. The first game of our state championship will take place at 4:30 on Friday, May 27th. The second game will take place at 11 a.m. on Saturday, May 28th. And if we need it, the final game would be played at 4:30. But that's only if necessary. But our state championship matchup set, the 2-seeded Lehi Pioneers will take on the 4-seeded Olympus Titans. While we have a moment before we step away, we want to recognize the incredible season Bountiful had. They were the 10th seed and battled all the way to make it to the Final Four. They defeated Orem twice. They hung tough with Lehi. They played Lehi as tough as anyone's played them all season. This is the lowest scoring game that Lehi has had in a win this year, and it didn't come until those 2 runs in the 6th. We're talking about this Bountiful team. Tavis Danner was really good for most of it. Drew Beck had the home run. Truman Derrier, even though he was retired there, had a really strong day as well. Drew Bowles with some hits. But what a performance by Coach Stringfellow's squad. It's one they'll be bummed out about as they couldn't close it out, but looking at it from the Pioneers' perspective, Jason Ingersoll and his team of Pioneers get it done. Got to look at Jackson Brousseau. Jake Olson was the one who first reached base. And then it was Jackson Brousseau who drove in his run. Brousseau also drove in the first run of the 6th on the fly ball. And then it was Maddox Madsen who brought in what would end up being the winning run when Maddox Madsen got McGuire Madsen to cross home. That was the 3-2. Dawson Rodak was really good on the mound early, but coming in and coming up clutch. How about the trust and the performance from the freshman? Mays Madsen delivers, forcing the Bountiful to put 2 balls in play that they're able to retire. So Lehi comes up late. Those 2 clutch runs in the 6th give them the 3-2 win. That'll be your final. The 2-seeded Pioneers advance to the championship game, defeating Bountiful and ending their season. So a reminder, our state championship matchup is set. The 2-seeded Lehi Pioneers taking on the 4-seeded Olympus Titans. The first game this Friday right here at UVU. It's a best-of-3 series. Pioneers, Titans, we'll see who will take it. The first one at 4:30. I'm JT Wistersill. Thank you for tuning in to all of our matchups today. Enjoy a day off tomorrow, and we'll see you all for Friday's exciting matchup. Thank you, and have a good night. You've been watching KSL Game Night Live Rewind.